Hello everyone. Today I'm going to present you a tutorial on topic cubital fossa. In this video, we are going to cover the boundaries, the contents and clinical anatomy related to cubital fossa. So let's start. What is cubital fossa? Cubital fossa is basically a triangular hollow area present in front of your elbow, right? And it corresponds to your popliteal fossa of the lower limb. Coming to the boundaries of your cubital fossa. The lateral boundary is formed by medial border of brachioradialis muscle, right? So this is your brachioradialis muscle, and the medial border of brachioradialis is forming the lateral boundary of cubital fossa. This is the lateral aspect and this is the medial aspect. And this is your brachioradialis muscle. So you can see here that the medial border of brachioradialis muscle is forming the lateral boundary of cubital fossa, right? Coming to the medial border. The medial border is formed by lateral border of pronator teres muscle, right? This is your lateral border of pronator teres muscle. This is pronator teres muscle. So the lateral border of pronator teres muscle is forming your medial boundary of cubital fossa, right? The base is formed by an imaginary horizontal line which joins the two epicondyle of humerus, right? This is your humerus bone, and this is the imaginary line which is formed by joining the two epicondyles of humerus, the lateral and medial epicondyle, and that imaginary line forms the base of your cubital fossa. The apex of your cubital fossa is formed by the meeting point of your lateral and medial boundary of brachioradialis muscle, right? So here you can see that brachioradialis muscle is overlapping your pronator teres muscle, and apex is formed by the overlapping of your brachioradialis muscle to pronator teres. Brachioradialis overlaps the pronator teres muscle and it is forming the apex, right? Coming to the floor. The floor is formed by brachialis in the upper part and supinator in the lower part. The muscles of the floor are not visible in this diagram, but the muscles forming the floor are brachialis and supinator. Brachialis in the upper part and supinator in the lower part. Then coming to the roof. The roof is formed from superficial to deep by skin, superficial fascia and deep fascia. This was the basic that you know. Whenever we cover any of the topic, any of the fossa or any of a triangle, we study the roof in that way, starting from the skin to the deep fascia, right? So it consists of your skin, then we have superficial fascia, then we have deep fascia. We'll understand the diagram of the roof in the next slide, right? So now coming to the roof of cubital fossa. So the roof of your cubital fossa is formed by your skin, your superficial fascia and your deep fascia, right? The superficial fascia contains median cubital vein. This is your median cubital vein. The median cubital vein connect the cephalic vein and basilic vein, right? Cephalic vein is the lateral vein and basilic vein is the medial vein, right? And median cubital vein, which is present in the roof of your cubital fossa, connects cephalic and basilic vein. Then we have medial and lateral cutaneous nerve of forearm. This is your lateral cutaneous nerve of forearm and this is your medial cutaneous nerve of forearm. So these nerves are also present in the roof of cubital fossa. Then we have deep fascia. The deep fascia is strengthened by bicipital aponeurosis. This is your bicipital aponeurosis. So the deep fascia is strengthened by bicipital aponeurosis. So what is bicipital aponeurosis? Bicipital aponeurosis is basically a aponeurosis of your biceps tendon, and it is basically a white fibrous tissue that is present in place of a tendon in flat muscles like your biceps muscle for providing a wide area of attachment, right? So bicipital aponeurosis is a aponeurosis that is present in the biceps tendon so that it can have a wide area of attachment. Coming to the contents of cubital fossa. Cubital fossa is actually a very narrow space, right? It is a very narrow space and the contents can be only be visible if we flex our elbow and its margin are pulled apart, right? Then only the contents could be visible. And when we move from your medial to lateral side, we can remember the contents by a acronym, that is your MBBS, right? We can remember the contents by the mnemonic MBBS. M stands for your median nerve. So this is your medial side and this is your lateral side. So M is for your median nerve. B is for brachial artery, B for biceps tendon and superficial radial nerve. So all the contents are marked in this diagram. That is very much clear to all of you, right? So when we move from medial to lateral side, you can remember the contents of cubital fossa by the mnemonic MBBS, right? Okay, coming to the median nerve. The median nerve leaves the fossa by passing between the two heads of pronator teres muscle, right? So here you can see this is your median nerve. This is your median nerve and this is your pronator teres muscle, right? So the median nerve is leaving the pronator teres muscle by passing between it two heads. It is leaving the cubital fossa by passing between the two heads of pronator teres muscle, right? Then next we have brachial artery, right? Brachial artery terminates in the fossa at the level of the neck of radius and it divides into radial and ulnar artery. So here in the red you can see the brachial artery and you can see that it is terminating into two branches. That is your radial artery and your ulnar artery. The radial artery is a superficial artery and the ulnar artery is deep and it passes deep to pronator teres muscle. So this is your radial artery and this is your ulnar artery, right? Okay. So the brachial artery terminates into radial and ulnar artery. Radial artery is superficial and ulnar artery is deep and it passes between the heads of pronator teres. It passes deep to pronator teres. Then we have biceps tendon. Biceps tendon passes backwards and laterally to attach to radial tuberosity, right? This is your biceps tendon. So it is passing backwards and it attaches to radial tuberosity. Radial tuberosity is not visible in this diagram. Then we have radial nerve. That is a superficial radial nerve. So the radial nerve is present in the gap between the brachialis muscle. Brachialis muscle is present medially and brachioradialis muscle laterally. So the radial nerve is present between the gap of brachialis muscle and brachioradialis muscle. At the level of your lateral epicondyle, it divides into superficial radial nerve and deep radial nerve, right? And the superficial radial nerve passes downwards under the cover of your brachioradialis muscle. So here you can see this is your radial nerve. So the superficial radial nerve passes downward and it under the cover of your brachioradialis muscle, and the deep radial nerve disappears in the supinator muscle. Supinator muscle is also not visible in this diagram, right? So okay, just a minute. Let's revise all the contents of your cubital fossa. So we have first median nerve. The median nerve leaves the fossa by passing between the two heads of pronator teres muscle. Then we have brachial artery. Brachial artery divides into radial and ulnar artery. Radial artery is superficial and ulnar is deep artery, right? And it terminates in the fossa at the level of your neck of radius. Then we have biceps tendon. Bicep tendon passes backwards and laterally to attach to radial tuberosity, right? Then we have radial nerve. Radial nerve lies in the gap between the brachialis muscle that is present medially and brachioradialis muscle that is present laterally. And at the level of your lateral epicondyle, it divides into two branches. This is your two branches of radial nerve at the level of lateral epicondyle. This is your lateral epicondyle, right? So it divides into two terminal branches, superficial radial nerve and deep radial nerve. The deep radial nerve disappears in supinator muscle and the superficial radial nerve passes downwards under the cover of brachioradialis muscle. Right? Is it clear to all of you? The contents of cubital fossa is clear to all of you? Okay. So let's move further and see the clinical anatomy of your cubital fossa. Coming to the clinical correlations of cubital fossa. Right. So the median cubital vein in the cubital fossa is the vein of choice for collecting blood samples and giving IV transfusions. Right. The median cubital vein, which connects cephalic and basilic vein, is used for collecting blood samples and IV transfusions. If you have undergone any blood test, you might have seen the nurse taking the blood out from your median cubital vein. Then we have brachial pulse. The brachial pulse in cubital fossa is easily felt medial to your biceps tendon, and that is why it is used for recording the blood pressure. Then we have supracondylar fracture of humerus. To deal with the fractures around your elbow, that is your supracondylar fracture of humerus, the contents of your cubital fossa, especially your brachial artery and your median nerve, these structures are more vulnerable to supracondylar fracture of humerus, right? So whenever we are dealing with any fracture around your elbow, we must look after the brachial artery and medial nerve, as they are very vulnerable to supracondylar fracture of the humerus, right? So this was all about the clinical correlations of cubital fossa. We have covered the boundaries, the contents and clinical correlations in this video. If you have any doubts, let me know in the comment section below. And guys, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you.